Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you catch the last video. So, before I start, I'm having questions again about my logo, and I'm gonna answer the question because it is technically a new situation. So, if you didn't hear in the video, the Q&A session, when I got confronted about my logo and what it means, what it's not supposed to mean, why do I use it, blah blah blah, etc. I said before I'm pretty sure before we started talking about it or before I got into it, that I was already planning to change my logo. And that if I did change it, it wasn't because of pressure. And it's not. Because the reason I changed my logo, or I was going to anyway, was when I had that revelation that almost pretty much the whole Bible is their agenda, their game plan. When I finally came to that realization, or at least that conclusion of mine, I didn't want to have the cross too much because then I don't even trust the story of Christ. Like the only thing that's in there is some good advice, like love your neighbor like you love yourself, etc. But to a point. I don't think you should love your enemies because that really just, you know, doesn't make sense. So, Paul, if you're listening, like I said, I didn't change it because of others. I was going to change it anyway. If I know you're not on my channel all the time, and I don't expect you to be on my channel all the time, but if you pay attention, before or after that video where I realized that, which is the one that says KJV 1611, before or after I made that video, you'll see I changed other stuff in my channel. I changed the banner. I changed. There was something else I changed. What was it? Oh yeah, I did that great reset, the great reset up video, which I never explained it. Just gonna go in, into it for like 2 minutes. I'll probably make another video about it. But the great reset of what I meant was I was doing two things. I'm exposing the great reset, and I didn't want to put it in the title just in case it got flagged. So I changed it to reset up because it really means the same. That's what they're doing. They're setting up again. They're setting up a different system. So it's really a reset up. And I was also subliminally saying that I was going to have a reset up in the sense that my message wasn't going to be the same anymore because it was very centered on Christ, and it was because that's where I was in my journey still. Christ has been something that was with me through my whole awakening, and it's still hard to let that go really because his message was part of what made me question things. When it says all that's hidden shall be revealed, it says or it's implying that there's hidden things. So, that obviously helped me along, like as you go through the rabbit holes of asking questions. So when I did that the great resetup video, I was already hinting that I was gonna change certain things, and I was already planning to change the logo, but I hadn't thought of what my new logo was gonna be. Um, Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the comments. Give me a second. So I didn't know what it was gonna be, but that Q&A session video when it got brought up again, and I was already, like I said, thinking of changing it. And I was like, well, after that video ended, I was like, let me just start working on my new logo anyway. Now you can believe what I'm saying, or you can believe that I buckled or whatever. It's up to you, really. But like they say, the proof is in the pudding. And if you're paying attention to my channel, you'll see that I was hinting at changes. So if you wanna see that, or you wanna think that I just did it based on that last live stream or with the Q&A session, that's up to you. I don't really Doesn't really matter to me. I'm gonna still keep doing my message. I'm gonna still keep doing my thing, regardless of what you think of me or what my intentions are or whatever. I think my videos speak plainly enough of what I'm about. So, just to get it out of the way, I guess, the only reason I picked this new logo, like this specific one, is what I'm talking about. It's I kept the circle in the middle. If you notice, it was around the cross in the other logo. Because, like I said, that circle to me represents the wheel of reincarnation, but the real wheel. Because in the wheel that they talk to us about, it doesn't end really. You just keep coming back and coming back to a different karma based system. And I'm saying the real wheel has a small opening, which you see there, which also relates to the narrow gate that Christ talked about, but not in the way the Bible tells you. The Bible, not the Bible really, the people that teach about the Bible tell you the narrow gate is believing in Christ and in his name and that he died for you. And I say that's the bullshit part. I say trying to do the good advice that Christ gave, it's what allows you to slowly wake up, and then you realize that you're in the matrix, which that helps you escape the the wheel of reincarnation. So that's what that circle represents to me. And then obviously outside you have the sun, which to me just represents light, which I believe light is everything really. I believe doesn't only let you see, but it's what gives you any type of knowledge. From the smallest piece of knowledge possible to very complex thinking is all because of light. That's just, I believe that. You don't have to believe that. So what I'm saying is, if you could escape the wheel of reincarnation, which is represented by that circle, then you'll enter the light, which is all knowledge, and then that sets you free. That's what my logo represents. That's all it does. And in my videos, when I put the logo, I put flashing lights and techno and whatever. So I'm just trying to get you pumped up. Okay, colors is good. We all know colors affects us. We know it could affect us negatively or positively. But again, I say it all comes back to your mind, your consciousness. How strong are you mentally? So when I see those flashing lights, I'm not getting fear or whatever. I'm getting like, yeah, let's go, powerful burst of energy. That's what I see it as. If you want to see it as something negative, then I don't know what to tell you, man. And this is not going directly to anybody. Some people are going to feel I'm targeting people. I'm not targeting you, but you brought it up. It's out there. So maybe it implies to you, but I'm sure other people will have your same opinion. So this goes to anybody who thinks my logo or the way I'm doing the flashing lights or whatever is supposed to be a negative thing. It's not, or at least I'm not intending it to be. And you shouldn't take it that way. And it'll all be fine. But, like I said, if you don't like it, then just don't watch my channel, basically. And as far as health concerns, I was conscious enough because I give a fuck enough about people that I put in the title flashing light warning. If you know it's going to affect you, you have epilepsy or whatever, don't click on the video. Why are people, everything is blaming people for things? There's nothing, nobody, very few people want to say anything positive about anything. Anyways, went on a freaking long rant that I wasn't planning to do. Paul already answered, man. I can't make it any more clear than what I have. And that's what I have to say. Anyways, so let's get on with the topics. So if you see in the title, I put COVID Ka-poor. And I split it up. Why? Because whenever you see that, that means I'm gonna break down a word or a name or whatever. So I don't know if you've seen the video that's circulating in the internet about this supermodel show, and one of the supermodels was wearing a plaid or plaid, not sure how you pronounce it, type of outfit, and then it also came with, or she's wearing a plaid face mask. Now this was in I believe it was March, no, April. I think it was April 4th, 2019. So obviously before this whole coronavirus thing even started in China. And she basically, when she comes out, there's like judges, like in most shows. So the judge is like, "Oh, when I saw her, I thought sick," but not in a bad way or something like that. But the point is, he used the word sick, and she's wearing a face mask when there is no reason to. She's the only supermodel or person in the whole set that's wearing a face mask, and her name is Ko-Vid Ka-poor. Now, yes, it's COVID with a K, but come on now, we know CK, pretty much the same sound, and they're interchangeable in a lot of names and stuff like that. So, on its face value, that's already a red flag in my opinion. But then I decided to be like, okay, well, what does Kapoor mean? I see the word poor in there, you know, and it immediately made my mind connect with all these other articles that I had been seeing throughout this whole big live exercise event, pandemic, whatever I'm not gonna curse this time. Whatever you want to think about or call it. And there was a lot of articles where like, oh, black people and Hispanic people and minorities are being affected more than other people. They should be one of the first people to get the vaccine when it's available. And in most cases, you would think that minorities are poor people. You know, usually a minority in population also means a minority in um I want to say income level, I guess. So the word poor is there, so I'm like, okay, what's ka mean? So like I broke down the word, and ka means in or within or inside. So simple. COVID with a K, which K is also a whole another thing, but just know K is usually used in negative words. Um, so Kapoor with which would mean with or inside, then it would be COVID inside or with the poor. Now I didn't break down the word poor further. You could, and it might be even deeper than that. Um, but pretty much you get the message, and then that also relates again to the Bible, to their agenda, right? Because the poor people are usually high in the spirit because they have to deal with a lot of things, and it requires faith in order to keep going day by day. Rich people don't really, yeah, they might have some personal issues, but that's more because of their lifestyle. But in terms of necessities, they're not lacking in much. So that's why the Bible says the poor are rich in spirit. And again, if you want to go further back, there's that video, which I'm not gonna say if it's real or not. It looks pretty real to me, and it's a very old video with Mr. The Hills Have Eyes Gates talking about a vaccine that could help people be less spiritual or connect or disconnect them from spiritual or religious thoughts because supposedly he could track down a specific area of the brain where those sort of thoughts go. So he wanted to make something that'll go and basically disable the cells that are in that area, or you know, from his short explanation. I'm not sure how many people have seen that video. I'm saying it's all connected. It's all about minorities, the poor, people who have spiritual thoughts, and that's really what it boils down to. They don't want that because they are cold, evil motherfuckers, and they want to continue to run the world for ages and ages to come. And somehow people are awakening, and that's, that's got them doing poo poo in their pants. So I'm telling you, most of us, no matter what background, we are the minority in the bigger scheme of things. Because the minority, sorry, we are the majority. Messed that up there. We are the majority, and they're really the minority. So we gotta stick together. We gotta come together because this is an all-on assault, and I don't even know if I'm going too hard into this live stream. I don't know how this is gonna work. Um, yeah, hopefully I didn't sabotage myself in this video. But anyways, I am, you know, kind of losing my patience. So I don't got time to think about the how you call these people. Maybe I shouldn't say the name, but basically the supervisors of certain platforms. I don't got time for that anymore, and I don't have the patience for that anymore. So, so there's that part, and the camel through the eye of a needle. Well, before I go on, any questions, any comments, anything you have to say before I move on to the second part of the topics for today? I'll wait about 2-3 minutes. All right, guys, keep talking amongst yourself, but there's 2 minutes left. I see no comments about anything I spoke about. I'm gonna move on to the second part. All right. So, if there is any questions, I'm not seeing it on my side here on live on StreamYard. But anyways, so camel through the eye of a needle. Why? What am I getting at with that? Well, we've heard, that thing in the Bible where Christ says it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich person to go into heaven. Now, I wanna say heaven is more. I'm not gonna say this is heaven, or that awakening itself in the flesh is heaven, but it's pretty much the closest thing you can to heaven. But heaven is not a place of um, you know. that everything's gonna basically awakening is when you know the truth, all right? When you start realizing the truth, there's less fear because you understand the big picture of things. And when you have less fear, it actually makes life a little better, you know? You have to stop worrying about so many things that are kind of pointless. So I do agree with that in a sense, because when you're rich, you're always worrying about material things. What are you gonna buy? How much money you have left? How much more money can you get? You don't have the latest thing, blah blah blah, etc. But the reason I'm bringing this out really is I was thinking about that verse, and then I said, is it related to the stars, basically? And I I was thinking about that, and then I saw this video from a YouTuber that I like. His name is Enter the Stars, which I'm gonna put some of his videos on recommendation for the next week. And he was doing a video that had was related to stars and constellations. And then there's one that basically looks like a camel, and it's called Camel Pallidus. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right here. But basically, so it's there, right? And then I was like, okay, so we have a constellation that looks like a camel. Some people say it's a giraffe, but those are the two predominant characterizations of the constellation. So I was like, is there a needle or anything called the needle nearby that star? So then I was looking at the constellations nearby the camel constellation, and there's one that's towards the head of it, and it's called the Ursa Minor. I believe there's either 7 or 9 stars. You know, you could fact check whatever I gotta say. Just look it up if you want to be more specific. I'm really just going off the top of my head. I don't have no notes or anything in front of me. Not right now. I usually just pop things up as I go live. But anyways, besides the point. So I was looking at the stars and looking at the names of the individual stars in the constellation of Ursa Minor, and there's one called the Needle or the Nail. And again, ties back to the Bible. You know, they nailed Christ to the cross. And I explained earlier, cross is really a symbol of crossing over different realms, going from physical to energy or spiritual and back and forth. So what that seems to me in the stars implying is that um can the camel go through the eye of a needle? Obviously it can't. The camel constellation is huge, and Ursa Minor is smaller, plus it's only one star, so it doesn't look like it's gonna fit inside of the eye of the needle. You know, you could, like I said, fact check it, look it up. Um, Also, a little bit of side note. So I'm becoming a little bit better prepared. I got a laptop, I got a mic and stuff, and I'm gonna try see if I can figure out how to with my laptop um screen share. So all these things that I'm saying, I could, show you exactly where I found it instead of having to just say it. And I'd rather have a visual and an audio presentation of the material. So that should be coming up fairly soon, maybe halfway next week, maybe not. There's two things that might happen. So I might start doing that next week, or I might be taking a break for personal issues, and hopefully everything turns out good. When I feel comfortable about telling you what the personal issue is, I will or I won't. I don't know. But just letting you know in case I disappear for a week or two. That's, I have some things to take care of around me. Hopefully, it won't take too long. So, anyways, um, So what I'm trying to say is you can't take the Bible too literally. Like, yeah, the phrase does make sense for the most part. I wouldn't say it's 100% because nothing is 100%. You know, there are some rich people that probably have a great heart and they're really good people, but it's definitely not the general description of how it works. So yeah, and like the reason I pointed out is so you can see that most of the Bible is really science. Excuse me, it's really constellations and energy and your body. And that's really what it's talking about. If you really pay attention to the patterns and the symbols and the numbers being used, it's all like it's basically a science book, um, being portrayed by different stories that people go through or people could go through or whatever. Even the stories itself are not literal; they're just stories of scenarios and aspects of humanity. So those are my two subjects. Like I said, breaking down the word Ko-Vid Ka-poor, which is the supermodel. I hopefully when I could screen share, I'm gonna put that video up. I feel like that video needs to go wide. I know it's just at the end of the day, it's speculation. At the end of the day, it's quote unquote coincidence. But come on, man, people need to start using critical thinking skills. You know, not everything could be a coincidence, and it's plain as day. So, and one last note. So, yeah, like I said, the Bible for the most part is their agenda, their thing, but it's still important because really it's what they always do, right? What they always been doing is hiding in plain sight. And for the most part, people have been blind, but now a lot of us are awakening to what they're hiding in plain sight. And it's important. You need to see it. It needs to be exposed. It needs to be light needs to be upon all those things. You can't just ignore it because it's really what saves you is knowing their agenda. So basically, I want to make clear that I'm not supporting everything in the Bible. I'm just showing you how they're using it. And why? Because it's a science book. It's a science of their knowledge that they have acquired throughout the ages, right? Because that's what they're supposed to be about, right? Knowledge. And what is knowledge? Knowledge is power. Whoever has the knowledge holds the power. It's everything it's been about that. But they've had so much knowledge and so much power that, they're a little cocky now. They're not now, they've been cocky, but they're cocky, you know, they're narcissistic, they think nothing can happen, so they like to put it in your face and laugh when you can't see it. But they're not laughing now, you know. Yeah, they might pretend to be laughing, but that's just them trying to seem like everything is under control, and everything is not under control. So we gotta keep up with the good fight, like I've been saying. We gotta stay positive. Do whatever technique makes you stay positive, whether it's singing, dancing, meditation, coloring, imagining, daydreaming, sun gazing, preparing, hunting, whatever, get your spirits up. Do it because you're gonna need your spirits up to deal with this battle. And not only that, you're gonna need it to make your body strong, you know, bring your health up. So let's just do it. Whatever you feel helps you. I'll try to give suggestions here and there, but everybody has their own way and everybody has their own thing to do. And yeah, man, just let's keep it up going. There's probably next week, hopefully when I set up the equipment better. I'm gonna show some articles that, people are waking up. We're still in this. Don't let them make you think we're not. We're still in this thing. All right, so that's what I gotta say as part of this video. Um, so any questions, any suggestions, any comments related to any of my material? As far as the chat, for what I see here, um, I'm not seeing anything related to what I'm talking about, so I'm assuming nobody has any questions, suggestions, or anything. If you do, I'm gonna wait about 3 more minutes. And yeah, so that's gonna be the end of the video. So any questions, suggestions, comments, doesn't have to be about what I talked about, it can be about anything really. And then I'm gonna go. The next open panel Q&A session is probably not gonna be till mid-December. So I wanna say somewhere between the 15th to the 20th. So if you wanna come up, you got something to say, you could come up and talk live. But yeah, pretty much. So from here to then, this is gonna be my uploads where I'll interact with you guys here on the chat. All right, so Mouse, look, Mouse, I'm too awake, brother. I'm just too awake, so I'm just gonna let you know, bro. It's all good, brother. I'm not affected in the least. In the least. I hope you know that. I just want to say that. You know? Let me see. You know? What am I talking about? You could rewind this when it gets uploaded and you could hear it to your heart's content. And yeah, like I said, if you missed it, if anybody missed it, it's gonna be uploaded and it's gonna be there. As far as that's under my control, it's gonna be there. So if you missed anything, you could go back. I don't really have time to do that. So, but I just wanna, between you and me, from me to you, I'm not affected, brother. Keep that in mind. Anyways, once again, comments, questions about anything I spoke about or about anything you want to share. That's not trivial, please, because I'm not gonna put up with it. So, anything? All right. Doesn't seem like it. Alrighty then. Talk to you guys somewhere next week. Gonna do the recommendation video Monday. So, to anybody listening to this now, to anybody that will listen to this after it gets uploaded, please remember, be love, share love, be truth, and have faith. Bye, everybody.